This video is introduced to Primary 5 students by Miss Sally Samah. Good morning, dear students. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to learn about passive voice. The opposite of active is passive. A sentence generally begins with the performer or doer of the action, which is the subject, then the verb, then the object. This is called an active sentence. So in the active voice, the subject of the sentence does the action. For example, John painted the house last week. I prepare lunch every day. And now, what is the passive voice? A sentence has a subject that acts upon its verb. That means if we begin the sentence with the object or person that the action is performed on, we formulate a passive sentence. In the passive voice, the subject of the sentence receives the action. For example, the house was painted last week. Lunch is prepared every day. Notice that the object of the active sentences, house and lunch, became the subjects of the passive sentences. Pay attention. Not all verbs in English take an object. Therefore, some sentences are complete without an object. For example, I slept well. He laughed. This type of sentence cannot be changed into passive voice. As you see, the verb slept doesn't need an object, and the verb laughed doesn't need an object too. When do we use the passive voice? We have two cases. The first case, when we don't know who the subject is, or it's not important who the subject is. We don't care about the subject. And the receiver of the action is more important. The second case, when it's obvious to the listener or reader who the subject is because it's the person who usually does it. For example, the teacher explained the lesson. The lesson was explained. The policeman catch the thieves. The thieves are caught. And now, how do we formulate the passive voice? There are three steps. The first one, put the object of the verb at the beginning of your sentence. Again, the first step is put the object of the verb at the beginning of your sentence. Number two, conjugate or use the verb to be in the same tense as the active sentence. That means if the main verb is in the present simple, we're gonna use am or is or are. And if it's in the past simple, we're gonna use was or were. The third step, put the main verb in the past participle form. So you have to revise the irregular verbs table. So these are the three steps to change an active voice sentence to passive voice sentence. Thank you for listening and wait for another video to apply on passive voice.